Hey guys, before we start with today's compilation, I would like to announce a giveaway. It all happened overnight. I woke up and we did it. We've surpassed 500 subscribers. I can't believe it, and I'm so grateful for all of you who decided to click the subscribe button. Thank you all for your support so far. Since it caught me unprepared, I didn't know what to offer in the giveaway. However, I wanted to stay within the same educational niche, providing informative content. So, I've decided to give away 1-month Audible Premium gift cards to 3 lucky winners. 2 entries will be processed through the link in the comments below. Everyone who subscribes, likes, and comments below will get 3 entries, which will be added manually. If you have one, you can leave your business email in the comments down below for an easier contact, but you should just add your YouTube name next to email in second entry in the question on link down below. A maximum of 5 entries can be obtained. I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you for everything. Now let's continue with our video. Hey guys, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of Lucy Letby, born in 1990, a British nurse who became a serial killer. She worked in a neonatal unit and harmed 13 babies between 2015 and 2016, causing 7 deaths. She was arrested in 2018 for the deaths at a Chester hospital. After multiple arrests, she was charged with 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. In her trial ending in August 2023, she was found guilty of killing 7 infants and trying to kill 6 others. Letby used various methods like injecting air or insulin, overfeeding, and physical assaults. She's now considered the worst child serial killer in modern UK history, and has been given a life sentence in August 2023. Her decision to skip her sentencing led to calls for mandatory court appearances for serious criminals. Today's video is a bit different. Yesterday, I came across the news about the end of her trial and the verdict. Consequently, I decided to create a video on this topic. Let's remember the victims, especially the most fragile, helpless, and innocent among them, the children. I'd also like to announce a giveaway to celebrate reaching 500 subscribers. It's unbelievable to me, but we are really close to that milestone. Over the last couple of days, the subscriber count has significantly increased. It feels like it was just a few days ago when I did the 250 subscribers giveaway. I couldn't be more grateful for all of you who watch my videos and have subscribed to my channel. I'm committed to enhancing the content daily, and recently I've started incorporating my original footage from drones and GoPro cameras. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave a like and consider subscribing so you won't miss any of my future uploads. If you have any ideas for the perfect giveaway, please leave a comment below. Now let's continue with our video, shall we? Born on January 4th, 1990, Lucy Letby's journey began as the only child of a finance manager and an accounts clerk. Raised in Hereford, her education took her through Ayleston School and Hereford Sixth Form College. From an early age, her ambition was clear: to care for newborns as a nurse. Pursuing her dream, she studied nursing at the University of Chester. During her 3-year training, she not only excelled academically, but also gained practical experience as a student nurse at Liverpool Women's Hospital and the Countess of Chester Hospital. Graduating in September 2011, she became the first in her family to achieve a university degree. In 2012, Lucy Letby embarked on her nursing career as a registered nurse at the neonatal unit of the Countess of Chester Hospital. Her responsibilities included caring for a diverse range of babies, providing them with varying levels of support. She found joy in witnessing their progress and offering support to their families. Notably, Letby also played a role in a fundraising campaign for a new neonatal unit within the hospital. During an informal review in June 2015, it was noticed that Lucy Letby, a neonatal nurse, had been on duty during several unexplained infant collapses, 3 of which resulted in deaths. These incidents were reported to the hospital committee, but were classified as medication errors rather than serious incidents involving unexpected deaths. Further suspicions were raised as Letby was the common staff member present during these events. Concerns were voiced to hospital leadership, and in 2016, a thematic review of unexplained deaths indicated that Letby's presence was a common factor. However, no immediate action was taken. Reports from Embrace UK showed a higher-than-expected neonatal death rate, and the Care Quality Commission, CQC, visited the hospital, noting challenges in raising concerns, but praising the overall positive staff culture. In mid-2016, the hospital's executive directors debated involving the police, but decided against it due to circumstantial evidence. Instead, an independent review by the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, RCPCH, was initiated, focusing on the overall service rather than Letby's actions. The review revealed insufficient staffing and senior cover, and recommended detailed case reviews. Letby filed a grievance about her transfer from clinical duties, which was upheld by the board, supporting her return. Consultants, however, sought police involvement after advice from a neonatal lead. Police were contacted in April 2017, and the hospital publicly announced police involvement in May 2017 to rule out unnatural causes of death. Lucy Letby was arrested on July 3, 2018, suspected of being involved in the deaths of 8 infants and attempted murder of 6 more at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Her home in Chester was searched by police. The investigation later expanded to include Liverpool Women's Hospital, where she had also worked. Despite initial findings of no harm to patients at the hospital, the investigation extended into her entire career. After her arrest, Letby was released on bail on July 6, 2018, but was rearrested on June 10, 2019, and again on November 10, 2020, in connection with multiple murder and attempted murder charges. On November 11, 2020, she was officially charged with 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. Letby, who denied all charges, attributed the deaths to hospital hygiene and staffing levels. In March 2020, Letby was temporarily suspended from the Nursing and Midwifery Council. As of August 18, 2023, Andrea Sutcliffe, Chief Executive and Registrar of the Nursing and Midwifery Council, confirmed that Letby remained suspended and that steps would be taken to remove her from the register. Letby's trial started at Manchester Crown Court on October 10, 2022, where she faced 7 counts of murder and 15 counts of attempted murder involving 10 babies. She pleaded not guilty, and the trial was attended by her parents and the victims' families. The trial involved secrecy around the identities of the infants and colleagues, referred to as Child A to Child Q, due to press restrictions. The prosecutor alleged Letby's sinister presence in the neonatal unit and her searching for parents on Facebook. It was claimed she injected air and used insulin to harm infants, and even tried to kill a baby while being interrupted by the mother. Her defense argued that Letby was part of a system failure rather than a deliberate murderer. Text messages showed her discussing the baby deaths with friends, expressing sadness for the parents. During the trial, notes Letby wrote were presented, with one saying, "I am evil, I did this." In May 2023, Letby testified, claiming she felt incompetent but never meant harm. She explained her emotional struggles due to the allegations, saying they impacted her mental health and self-confidence. The trial revealed a complex picture of accusations and defenses, emotions and evidence, as the court sought to determine her culpability in the tragic events. After a 9-month trial that began on October 10, 2022, Lucy Letby's verdict was reached on August 18, 2023. Found guilty, she was convicted of 7 counts of murder for her actions in causing the deaths of 7 babies between 2015 and 2016. She employed methods like injecting air, overfeeding, insulin poisoning, and even assaulting them with medical tools. Additionally, Letby was found guilty of 7 counts of attempted murder and not guilty on 2 counts of attempted murder, all related to the same time frame. However, the jury couldn't reach verdicts on 6 further attempted murder charges, leaving room for potential retrial. On August 21, 2023, Letby was sentenced by Justice Goss to life imprisonment with a whole life order, the most severe sentence in English law. This made her only the 4th woman in UK legal history to receive such a sentence. Goss described her actions as a cruel, calculated, and cynical campaign of child murder, and highlighted the severity of her crimes. Despite her absence at the sentencing hearing, her sentence was passed, prompting discussions about potential changes in the law to compel defendants to attend their sentencing. During the trial, the prosecution put forth several potential motives for Lucy Letby's actions. These included boredom, a thrill from the events, and a sense of control or playing God. They also suggested that Letby might have been seeking attention, particularly from a married doctor with whom she was alleged to have had a secretive relationship. The prosecution claimed that Letby might have harmed babies to involve the doctor in urgent cases. Letby denied all these claims, including the alleged relationship. After Letby's conviction, the police launched investigations into other possible cases of harm to babies. Around 30 other infants at the Countess of Chester Hospital and neonatal admissions at Liverpool Women's Hospital during the periods Letby worked there were being examined for suspicious incidents. Families were informed if their child's birth fell within the scope of these investigations. In response to the conviction, the government ordered an independent inquiry into the circumstances of the murders. The inquiry would examine how concerns raised by clinicians were handled and the circumstances surrounding the deaths and incidents. Witnesses wouldn't be compelled to testify due to the inquiry being non-statutory, but it aimed to learn from the case to prevent similar situations. Various individuals and organizations, including legal representatives of victims' families, supported a more powerful public inquiry to ensure thorough accountability. The case prompted discussions about corporate manslaughter charges. The Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health welcomed the inquiry, aiming to prevent similar incidents. The British Medical Association advocated for accountability for healthcare administrators similar to what doctors face. Alison Kelly, a senior nursing manager at the Countess of Chester Hospital during Letby's time there, was suspended from her position at Northern Care Alliance NHS Foundation Trust due to information emerging during the trial. The case of Lucy Letby is undeniably a tragic and horrifying one. The fact that she has been convicted for murders and attempted murders of defenseless babies is a heart-wrenching reality that highlights the depth of cruelty that can occur in the most unexpected places. The loss of innocent lives and the suffering inflicted upon these vulnerable infants and their families is a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist within individuals. This case serves as a devastating illustration of the ultimate betrayal of trust and the importance of ensuring the safety and well-being of those who cannot protect themselves. Thank you all who stick to the end of the video. Comment down below on what you think about this case and what should be done to prevent such cases. If you liked this video, check one of my other videos or go to my channel so you can scroll through my playlists. I am Alex and this is Conundrum. Stay curious and stay safe. Hey guys, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of Thierry Paulin, born November 28, 1963, and died at April 16, 1989 at only 25 years of age. Famously referred to as the Montmartre Menace in French, La Menace de Montmartre gained notoriety as a French serial killer during the 1980s, responsible for the brutal murders of 21 elderly women. His trial was never held as he succumbed to complications arising from AIDS before facing justice. If you like this type of content, consider liking and subscribing. Takes a second and means a lot to me. You can always change it later. Thank you all for support so far, and comment down below on what type of content you would like to see in the future from our channel. Now let's continue with our video. Thierry Paulin's journey began in Fort-de-France, Martinique, where he first saw the light of day. However, his father's departure for mainland France shortly after his birth left his teenage mother to navigate the challenges of raising a baby alone. Raised by his paternal grandmother, who owned a local restaurant, Paulin's upbringing was marked by a notable lack of attention from his grandmother. His surroundings failed to provide the nurturing he needed. At the age of 10, a shift occurred as he transitioned to living with his now married mother and attempted to integrate into the lives of his stepbrothers and stepsisters. Paulin's behavior took a troubling turn during this period. Growing increasingly unpredictable and aggressive towards his newfound siblings, his actions raised concerns. Eventually, his mother felt compelled to enlist the aid of his father, urging him to take their son to mainland France as a means to sidestep alimony responsibilities. Facing life as a mixed-race individual within a community of predominantly white peers, Paulin encountered isolation and difficulty in forging friendships. His academic performance mirrored his emotional struggles, with a string of failed exams resulting in subpar performance at school. At a pivotal juncture, aged merely 17, he embarked on an early entry into military service, enlisting in the ranks of the parachutists division. Unfortunately, his time as a soldier was marked by disdain from his fellow servicemen due to both his racial background and his homosexuality, leading to further feelings of exclusion. A critical turning point occurred on November 14, 1982, when Paulin committed a robbery targeting an elderly woman at her local grocery store. Armed with a knife, he threatened the woman and seized her belongings. Ironically, the victim recognized him as a former customer, swiftly leading to his arrest. In June 1983, he faced the consequences of his actions, receiving a 2-year prison sentence. However, the sentence was suspended, avec sursis, allowing Paulin to evade immediate incarceration and remain at liberty. The year 1984 marked a significant phase in Paulin's life as he exited military service and embarked on a journey from Toulouse to the bustling city of Paris. His mother and her family had relocated to Nanterre, a western suburb of the French capital. Seeking a place within this new environment, Paulin opted to live with them, but the atmosphere was far from harmonious, characterized by tension and hostility. Soon after his arrival in Paris, Paulin found employment as a waiter at the Paradis Latin, a renowned nightclub renowned for its captivating drag performances. It was within these flamboyant surroundings that Paulin began an unexpected career trajectory. Stepping onto the stage in drag, he embraced the persona of an artist, serenading the audience with tunes by his beloved singer, Eartha Kitt. An intriguing chapter unfolded when Paulin's mother was invited to witness her son's transformation on stage. However, her presence was short-lived, as she departed mere moments into the performance, seemingly unable to reconcile with the person her son had become. Within the vibrant milieu of the Paradis Latin, Paulin's life intertwined with that of Jean-Thierry Mathurin. Hailing from French Guiana, the 19-year-old Mathurin had succumbed to a life of drug addiction. A profound connection blossomed between the two, fueled by shared experiences. Paulin, while also grappling with addiction, engaged in drug peddling to sustain their lifestyle. Tragically, October 5, 1984, marked a pivotal turning point with the brutal assault of 2 elderly women in Paris. Germaine Petitot, aged 91, managed to survive the attack, but was left traumatized and unable to provide a detailed description of the assailants. Anna Barbier-Ponthus, aged 83, was less fortunate, meeting her demise after enduring a savage beating and suffocation beneath a pillow. The assailant made away with a mere 300 francs, approximately $50. Over the course of October and November 1984, a chilling pattern emerged as 8 more elderly women met their grim fate, primarily within Paris's 18th arrondissement, but extending into adjacent areas. The brutality of these crimes was stark. Victims suffered a range of horrors, from having their heads encased in plastic bags to suffering fatal beatings. One tragic victim was even forced to ingest drain cleaner. The common thread linking these crimes was apparent: robbery. Some sources suggested that Paulin specifically targeted women who came across as unkind or unfriendly during their interactions, while Paulin himself confessed to the police that he singled out the most vulnerable among them. Concurrently, Paulin and Mathurin reveled in an extravagant existence, their nights a symphony of dancing, champagne, and cocaine. As November drew to a close, they ventured to Toulouse, seeking refuge in the home of Paulin's father for a brief respite. However, the father's inability to embrace his son's partner resulted in volatile clashes, culminating in the dissolution of Paulin and Mathurin's relationship. Mathurin returned to Paris, while Paulin pursued an ambitious endeavor, an enterprise of transvestite artists, which sadly floundered in the autumn of 1985. Between December 20, 1985, and June 14, 1986, An ominous wave engulfed the city, leading to the tragic demise of 8 more elderly women. Despite the concerted efforts of the police, the enigmatic assailant's identity remained an elusive puzzle. While a few tantalizing clues graced the investigators' path, the elusive nature of the perpetrator persisted. Piecemeal evidence, gleaned through meticulous fingerprint analysis, unveiled a critical revelation. The hand behind the 1984 murders and the current wave was one and the same. Yet a discernible shift in the killer's modus operandi became unmistakable. Unlike the prior blood-soaked tableau, this newer series exhibited a preference for swifter, less torturous methods of ending lives. The onset of autumn in 1986 bore witness to an alarming event: Paulin's violent confrontation with one of his cocaine suppliers, marked by the wielding of a baseball bat as his weapon of choice. The aftermath of this altercation witnessed the dealer seeking refuge within the precincts of the law, prompting Paulin's arrest. Subsequently, a sentence of 16 months behind bars was pronounced in light of the assault. Thus, Paulin's sojourn in Fresnes prison began, with an entire year spent within its confining walls. Upon his eventual release, Paulin's world was further marred by the stark revelation of his HIV-positive status. This revelation, far from instilling caution or remorse, seemingly served to escalate the nefarious activities. A sense of urgency enveloped his actions, propelling him into a chilling race against the inexorable passage of time. Driven by the awareness of his impending mortality, his deeds took on an even more sinister hue. As the hands of the clock relentlessly ticked away, Paulin embarked on a spree of killings, each life snuffed out becoming a grim testament to his macabre resolve. With the specter of AIDS casting a shadow over his life, Paulin orchestrated extravagant soirees, sparing no expense in a flurry of opulence. These lavish celebrations were bankrolled through a complex web of stolen credit cards, forged checks, and the ill-gotten gains from his murderous exploits. On the fateful day of November 25, 1987, Paulin's hands claimed another life, that of Rachel Cohen, aged 79. Concurrently, he launched an attack on an 87-year-old woman named Berta Finalteri, suffocating her and leaving her for dead. Just 2 days later, he sealed the fate of Geneviève Germont, destined to be his final victim. As Paulin marked his 24th birthday, a twist of fate unfolded. Finalteri, defying the odds, emerged from the brink of death and courageously offered a detailed description of her assailant. She recounted encountering une métisse d'une vingtaine d'années coiffée à la Carl Lewis, avec une boucle d'oreille à l'oreille gauche, a mixed-race man in his 20s, hair styled like Carl Lewis, with an earring in his left ear. The wheels of justice turned swiftly. On December 1st, recognition led to arrest, as Paulin was apprehended while strolling down the street by local police inspector Francis Jacob, acting upon Finalteri's account. The ensuing days of custody bore witness to a confession that laid bare the extent of his deeds, a chilling narrative that included his partnership with Mathurin. Accused of 18 murders, though he claimed responsibility for 21, Paulin was incarcerated, awaiting the impending trial. The year 1988 brought a somber descent into illness for Paulin, as the ravages of AIDS began to exact their toll on his body. Within the span of a year, his condition deteriorated, culminating in hospitalization marred by the twin specters of tuberculosis and meningitis. The night of April 16, 1989, would be his last, as he breathed his final breath in the hospital ward of Fresnes prison, a poignant conclusion to a life shrouded in malevolence. Ironically, only Mathurin stood trial for the initial 9 assaults and murders, facing a life sentence followed by 18 years devoid of parole. Mirroring the complexity of the case, Mathurin was eventually released in 2012. Meanwhile, the specter of conviction eluded Paulin, his name forever intertwined with unspeakable crimes never brought to judgment. Thank you all who stick until the end of the video. Let me know what case you would like for me to cover in next videos. Michel Fourniret, a French serial killer, admitted to the murders of 12 people in France and Belgium between 1987 and 2003. His capture in 2003 led to confessions, resulting in his 2008 conviction for 7 murders. Fourniret's ex-wife played a crucial role, and they both received severe sentences. In 2018, he admitted to 2 more killings, and in 2020, he confessed to another. Fourniret's horrifying spree remains a haunting reminder of human darkness. If you like this type of content, consider liking and subscribing. Takes a second and means a lot to me. You can always change it later. Thank you all for support so far, and comment down below on what type of content you would like to see in the future from our channel. Now let's continue with our video. Michel Fourniret, born in Sedan, France, had a quiet and intelligent childhood, finding joy in chess and classical music. However, he later revealed that his upbringing was marred by claims of childhood abuse. As an adult, Fourniret held various jobs, from forestry work to school supervision. Unfortunately, his life took a darker turn. In 1966, he faced his first arrest, involving an incident with a young girl. In 1984, he found himself imprisoned again, this time for a series of concerning incidents involving 5 young girls. During his time in prison, Fourniret established a correspondence with Monique Olivier through a pen pal program. Their conversations took a disturbing twist as he shared unsettling fantasies involving virginal girls and murder. Shockingly, Olivier seemed to entertain these ideas, even proposing a sinister trade for assistance. Upon his release in 1987, Fourniret's relationship with Olivier deepened, and they embarked on a path that led to the tragic deaths of young girls. Their actions left an indelible mark on history, a somber reminder of the darkness that can take root in the human heart. The grim chronicle of Michel Fourniret and Monique Olivier paints a chilling portrait of a reign of terror that spanned over a decade, leaving a trail of horror and heartache in its wake. It all began on a fateful day, December 11, 1987, in the town of Auxerre. Fourniret and Olivier, operating from separate vehicles, had their sights set on 17-year-old Isabelle Laville. With calculated precision, Olivier approached Laville on her walk home from school, feigning the need for directions. The trap was set. Olivier signaled to Fourniret, who posed as a stranded motorist, offering his help. Laville unwittingly stepped into the nightmare as Fourniret seized her with a rope, strangling her with merciless force. Sedated with Rohypnol, Laville's lifeless body was transported to their abode in Saint-Cyr-les-Colons. There, Fourniret subjected her to heinous acts of violence before her remains were callously discarded down a disused well in Bussy-en-Haute. The darkness that befell Laville remained hidden for over 18 years until the discovery of her tragic fate on July 11, 2006. In March 1988, a new chapter of horror unfolded. Fourniret's path crossed with 30-year-old Farida Hammaché, a connection born of intrigue and greed. Hammaché, seeking his aid to reclaim stolen treasures, became ensnared in a web of malevolence. Collaborating with Fourniret, the two recovered a cache of gold ingots and coins pilfered by the Gang des Postiches. But Hamish's association with Fourniret sealed her doom. Lured away from her home, she met a chilling end, strangled and buried. Her possessions pilfered to fund the purchase of a sinister prize, the Château du Sautou in Donchery. A grim fate befell Hamish, her body forever concealed. The summer of August brought not respite but more devastation. With Olivier heavy with child, the couple's predilection for evil knew no bounds. A chance encounter with 20-year-old Fabienne Leroy became a grim tableau of manipulation and brutality. Olivier's feigned ailment was the lure that led Leroy into their clutches. As she sat in their car, her fate was sealed. Forced to endure unthinkable horrors, Leroy's life ended with a gunshot to her chest, her existence extinguished at the hands of her tormentors. The chilling saga continued into January 1989, as Fourniret's path intertwined with 21-year-old Jeanne-Marie Desrameaux. A seemingly innocuous train journey led to her tragic demise. Fourniret and Olivier, under false identities, ensnared Desrameaux with an invitation to their home. Once there, a disturbing obsession with her virginity led to a violent struggle. Gagged and subdued, Desrameaux's life was extinguished by Fourniret's merciless hands, her body concealed in the garden of the Château du Sautou. the couple's horrors escalated, culminating in a haunting December. Elizabeth Brichet, a mere 12 years old, became their final victim on a sinister afternoon. A seemingly innocuous request for directions proved to be her undoing. As darkness fell, her life was extinguished, her body laid to rest alongside de Rameau's, both forever enshrouded in the haunting garden of the chateau. Fourniret's depraved path was not confined to one country. France's western coast bore witness to his final known murder, an act of savagery against 13-year-old Natasha Danaï. Amidst a backdrop of legal woes, Fourniret and Olivier lured Danaï into their van, only to subject her to a horrifying assault. A screwdriver and their malevolent intent brought a swift end to her life, her body abandoned on the desolate beach. The duo's reign of terror extended to Belgium, as they established a new residence. Even in the early 1990s, Fourniret's thirst for blood remained unquenched. His lust for violence led to the brutal demise of Céline Saison, her skeletal remains discovered amidst the desolate forest. Another innocent life claimed by his monstrous actions. The year 2001 brought no respite from Fourniret's atrocities. His final known victim, 13-year-old Mananya Thumpong, became entangled in his web of horror. A sinister invitation to his home sealed her fate, as she succumbed to his twisted desires, her remains tragically devoured by the wild. Michel Fourniret and Monique Olivier's gruesome odyssey of death and suffering stands as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity. Their legacy is etched in pain, a haunting cautionary tale of the darkness that can fester within the human soul. In a chilling turn of events, Michel Fourniret's reign of terror was abruptly halted on the 26th of June 2003 as Belgian authorities stormed his residence in Sarre-Custine. This arrest followed a sinister plot to abduct a 13-year-old girl that had gone awry. Extensive interrogations of Fourniret and Monique Olivier yielded little, until a year later when Olivier broke her silence. She revealed that her husband had orchestrated a series of killings since 1987. Fourniret confessed to ending the lives of 8 women spanning ages 12 to 30, along with an unidentified man. The grim truth emerged. 4 of these victims had been discovered in the desolate landscapes of France and Belgium between 1988 and 2002. Both Fourniret and Olivier were ensnared by the arms of justice. Extradited to France, they embarked on a macabre journey to unveil the locations of their victims. Over the span of 2 haunting years, the duo assisted authorities in locating the bodies of 3 out of the 4 missing victims, a grim testament to their twisted alliance. The stage was set for a harrowing reckoning. The trial unfolded in Charleville-Mézières from the 27th of March to the 28th of May 2008. The weight of Fourniret's malevolence bore down upon him, as he was found guilty of the unspeakable murders of all 7 victims whose remains had been uncovered. The gavel's fall marked the end of his reign, sealing his fate within the walls of a prison cell for life, devoid of any glimmer of parole. Olivier's fate mirrored her husband's, as she faced a life sentence with a possibility of release only after 28 years. But justice went beyond imprisonment, as Fourniret and Olivier were compelled to pay a staggering €1.5 million in moral compensation to the anguished families left in the wake of their atrocities. Fourniret's confession to 8 murders prior to the trial cast a damning shadow over his past. His conviction encompassed 7 of these vile acts, ensuring a lifetime of incarceration. The echoes of their malevolence reverberated, forever etching their names in the annals of infamy. The sinister web of Michel Fourniret's crimes extended far and wide, leaving a trail of horror and sorrow in its wake. Unearthed from the grounds of the Château du Sautou in Donchéry were the remains of 2 of his victims, Elisabeth Brichet and Jean-Marie de Rameau. A chateau acquired through stolen wealth, it became a haunting testament to his malevolence. Fourniret's reign of terror persisted as he revealed more grim secrets. In a chilling revelation, Fourniret's confessions expanded to claim the lives of 2 more innocent women. In February 2018, the depths of his depravity were unveiled as he admitted to the killings of Marie-Angèle Domès, an 18-year-old disabled woman, in July 1988, and Joanna Parrish, a 20-year-old British student, in May 1990. The breadth of his atrocities continued to unfold. March 2020 brought forth yet another chilling revelation, as Fourniret confessed to the abduction and murder of Estelle Mouzin, a young girl who had vanished from Guermantes in January 2003. The heart-wrenching toll of his crimes expanded further. The roster of known victims painted a grim tableau of shattered lives. Each entry told a tale of innocence snuffed out, leaving behind a trail of despair. From Isabelle Laville to Natasha Danais, these young souls were robbed of their futures, their disappearances sending shockwaves through communities. Not confined to his known victims, Fourniret's malevolence was rumored to extend further. Suggestions emerged that he may have been involved in the disappearance of former Minister for Labor Robert Boulin, entwining his name with even darker deeds. The specter of his possible involvement cast a long shadow over unresolved mysteries. Legacy intertwined with controversy as Rachida Dati, the then French Minister for Justice, grappled with legal reforms. Her calls for a more relaxed approach to preventive custody and parole under supervision sparked fierce debates, exposing the complexities of justice and its administration. But even in the face of his heinous crimes, Fourniret's reign was brought to a close. On the 10th of May 2021, at the age of 79, he succumbed to respiratory problems in a hospital room, marking the end of a chapter marred by terror and tragedy. I am deeply sorry if I butchered some French names in advance. I tried my best, guys. Thank you to all who have stuck with me until the end of the video. Hey guys, in today's Conundrum we will talk about the Chester Dwayne Turner, born in 1966, an American serial killer and sex offender who received the death penalty for the sexual assault and murder of 14 women in Los Angeles from 1987 to 1998. He was initially homeless and had a criminal history. In 2002, he was imprisoned for rape, where DNA evidence connected him to more murders and rapes. Turner was sentenced to death in 2007, and again in 2014, for a total of 14 murders, including the death of an unborn child. He was known as the Southside Slayer before his identification. Prosecutors consider him one of LA's most prolific serial killers. If you like this type of content, consider liking and subscribing. Takes a second and means a lot to me. You can always change it later. Thank you all for support so far, and comment down below on what type of content you would like to see in the future from our channel. Now let's continue with our video. Chester Dwayne Turner's early life was marked by various struggles and criminal activities. Born on November 5, 1966, in Warren, Arkansas, he relocated to Los Angeles with his mother following his parents' separation when he was just 5 years old. His education at local public schools, including Locke High School, was cut short as he dropped out. Turner found work at Domino's Pizza as a cook and delivery person, residing with his mother until her move to Utah. Subsequently, he faced periods of homelessness, seeking refuge in different shelters and missions. During his tumultuous journey, Turner's legal troubles escalated. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, he experienced multiple incarcerations due to theft and drug possession, serving sentences from 1987 to 1989, then again from 1989 to 1992, and once more from 1993 to 1995. His criminal record expanded further when he was arrested and convicted for car theft in 1995. Turner's encounters with the law continued, leading to his imprisonment for assaulting an officer and cruelty to an animal on April 9, 1997. In 1992, Turner formed a romantic relationship with Felicia Collier, resulting in the birth of a child. Over time, Turner became a father to a total of 4 children from different women. Following his eventual arrest, some of these children were raised by his mother. Turner's troubled personal history laid the groundwork for his darker and more sinister actions, ultimately culminating in his involvement in a series of heinous crimes. Chester Dwayne Turner's chilling reign of terror left a trail of horror across Los Angeles, with DNA evidence connecting him to a series of 14 gruesome murders. Most of these killings were concentrated within a small corridor flanking Figueroa Street, extending from Gage Avenue to 108th Street, while some occurred outside this vicinity within Los Angeles County. The first set of murders occurred between 1987 and 1989, marking Turner's disturbing initiation into his spree of violence. His first confirmed victim was 21-year-old Diane Johnson, whose lifeless body was discovered on March 9, 1987, in a construction zone near the harbor. She had suffered the horrors of rape, strangulation, and a brutal stripping of her clothing. In June 1987, 33-year-old Alondra Joyce Bunn's nude body was found amidst a pile of discarded refuse. Young Alvin McThomas stumbled upon her remains. An autopsy would later reveal the extent of her suffering, battered and bloodied eyes, head and neck abrasions, and neck and torso bruises. Later that year, on October 29th, 26-year-old Annette Ernest, a Louisiana native, met a similarly tragic fate. Her partially nude body, bearing signs of strangulation, was left on a roadside shoulder. Annette's connection to Mildred White, a friend of Jerry Johnson Triplett, mother of Turner's fifth victim, Andrea Triplett, added a haunting layer of interconnectedness. A pause in Turner's murderous spree occurred in 1988, but his vile actions resumed in January 1989 with the discovery of the partially nude body of 31-year-old Anita Fishman Breyer. Found near a garage in an alley off Figueroa Street, Anita's struggles with addiction were compounded by her tragic end. The horrors continued to mount as September 23, 1989, unveiled the strangled and partially nude body of 27-year-old Regina Nadine Washington within a garage adjacent to Figueroa Street. The heartbreaking detail of her pregnancy, 6 months along, and the attributing of baby Washington's death to the same act of strangulation added a deeply disturbing layer of tragedy to this harrowing tale. During the period of 1992 to 1993, a second wave of terror unfolded, accompanied by a tragic case of wrongful conviction. On November 16, 1992, the lifeless body of the seventh victim, 32-year-old Deborah Williams, was discovered in the 400 block of West 98th Street in Vermont Vista. Just a month later, on December 16th, another grim scene awaited as the body of 41-year-old Mary Edwards was found on the 9700 block of South Figueroa Street in Vermont Vista. As April of 1993 arrived, the chilling pattern continued. The strangled and partially nude body of 29-year-old Andrea Triplett was uncovered behind an abandoned structure on Figueroa Street. Tragically, despite being 5.5 months pregnant, Andrea's unborn child was not recognized as viable under California law at the time, leading to Turner escaping a charge for its murder. Then, in the following month of May, the life of 29-year-old Desiree Ella Jones was brutally extinguished. Her body, also strangled and partially nude, was found in a backyard. Desiree's brother Frank fondly remembered her as intelligent, outgoing, and humorous, noting her previous employment at an elderly care facility before her battle with addiction. In a cruel twist of fate, David Allen Jones, a part-time janitor, became ensnared in this web of tragedy. Wrongly accused, he was arrested for the murders of Williams and Edwards, as well as another victim, Tammy Christmas. Despite his limited literacy, Jones was interrogated without legal representation and confessed to drug use with the victims near the locations of their deaths. In a flawed legal process, Jones was convicted of the murders in 1995, leading to a sentence of 36 years to life behind bars. Adding further sorrow, Jones had also been convicted of an unrelated rape during his trial. This case highlights the heartbreaking consequences of a miscarriage of justice. The years spanning 1995 to 1998 marked a chilling crescendo of violence, as Chester Dwayne Turner embarked on his final spree of murders. The horrifying sequence began on February 12, 1995, when the lifeless body of 31-year-old Natalie Joan Price was discovered next to an empty dwelling in Vermont Knolls. Like the others before her, she too had fallen victim to strangulation. Continuing his reign of terror, on November 6, 1996, the partially nude and strangled remains of 45-year-old Mildred Williams Beasley were found entangled in bushes near the 110 Fly. Hailing from Michigan, Mildred was a married woman with a teenage son, her life brutally cut short. In February 1997, The lifeless body of 30-year-old Cynthia Annette Johnson was uncovered in the Green Meadows neighborhood of South Los Angeles, yet another victim of strangulation. The ominous pattern persisted on February 3, 1998, when 38-year-old Paula Donnell Vance met a gruesome fate. Her body was discovered within the premises of the Olympia tool business in Azusa. Surveillance cameras captured eerie glimpses of the killer. A haunting, dark shadow and little more, with one camera frustratingly cutting away just before capturing the murderer's face. Paula, a victim of mental illness and homelessness, suffered an unfathomable end. Finally, on April 6, 1998, the nightmare reached its conclusion with the discovery of the lifeless body of 39-year-old Brenda Breeze. She was strangled to death and found in a portable toilet near Little Tokyo, a mere 50 yards from the hotel where Turner was residing at the time. As this tragic chapter closed, the true extent of Turner's monstrous acts became shockingly apparent, leaving a trail of devastation and sorrow in his wake. In March 2002, Turner worked as a security guard at a homeless shelter in downtown Los Angeles. During the same month, he assaulted Maria Martinez, raping her for hours while threatening her life. Turner pleaded no contest to rape and received an 8-year prison sentence, serving time at Sierra Conservation Center. As part of his prison term, Turner was required to submit a DNA sample to CODIS. In September 2003, his DNA linked him to the murders of Paula Vance and Brenda Breeze. This led to a deeper investigation, uncovering his connection to 10 more unsolved murders through DNA evidence. In December 2004, Turner was arraigned on 10 murder charges, pleading not guilty. Meanwhile, the investigation into his crimes shed light on a shocking revelation. David Allen Jones, who had been convicted of 3 1992 murders, including Deborah Williams and Mary Edwards, was potentially innocent. Detectives re-evaluated evidence and DNA analysis showed Jones was not linked to the crimes he had served time for. He was acquitted, released from prison, and awarded compensation. Turner faced justice in a courtroom, with convictions for 11 murders in May 2007 and subsequent death sentences in July 2007. More charges followed in 2011, connecting him to 4 additional murders. In June 2014, he was again convicted and received another death sentence. Over time, legal proceedings continued. In a twist, the California Supreme Court reversed Turner's murder conviction for an unborn baby, but upheld the death sentences for the other victims in November 2020. Turner remains on death row at San Quentin State Prison, a chilling reminder of his heinous crimes. The case of Chester Dwayne Turner serves as a somber reminder of the urgent need to prioritize the safety and protection of women. Turner's horrific crimes underscore the importance of robust law enforcement efforts, DNA analysis, and fair trials to ensure justice prevails. As we reflect on this case, it is imperative that society remains committed to creating a secure environment where women are safeguarded from harm, and where those who perpetrate violence are held accountable for their actions. Thank you to all who have stuck with me until the end of the video. The case of Lori Vallow Daybell has captivated the nation for over 4 years, with its shocking twists and turns capturing the public's attention. From the perplexing disappearance of her children in 2018 to the recent developments leading to her arrest, this dark saga has unfolded with alarming revelations and heartbreaking outcomes. In this story, we will delve into the timeline of events surrounding Lori Vallow Daybell from 2018 to today, shedding light on the disturbing nature of this case. In December 2018, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow made their first public appearance together on a podcast affiliated with a group called Preparing a People. Chad, an author and speaker, had gained a following with his religious writings about the end times. Lori was a devoted follower of his work. Preparing a People, a multimedia company, claimed to provide lectures and videos aimed at preparing people for the second coming of Jesus Christ, as stated on its website. On February 8, 2019, Charles Vallow, Lori's then-husband, takes the step of filing for divorce. In his divorce papers, Charles expresses concerns about Lori's increasing involvement in extreme religious beliefs. He seeks custody of their adopted son, Joshua Jackson, J.J. Vallow. Shockingly, Charles alleges that Lori believes she has a divine mission as one of the 144,000 assigned to carry out God's work during the Second Coming, scheduled for July 2020. He goes as far as to claim that Lori has expressed a willingness to murder him if he stands in the way of her mission. Tragically, on July 11, 2019, while Lori and Charles are estranged, a distressing incident takes place. Charles is fatally shot inside Lori's residence in Arizona. The shooter is revealed to be Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who claims self-defense. At the time of the shooting, Lori, JJ, 7 years old, and Tylee, 16 years old, are also present in the house. Surprisingly, no charges are filed against Cox in relation to the incident. JJ, born on May 25, 2012, was a joyful and energetic 7-year-old boy. He had a bright smile and a playful spirit. JJ was diagnosed with autism, which made him special in his own way. He required additional support and care to navigate the world around him. Despite his challenges, JJ had a loving and close bond with his older sister, Tylee. Tylee Ryan, born on September 24, 2002, was a confident and independent 16-year-old girl. She possessed a creative spirit and had a passion for photography. Tylee was known for her warm heart and caring nature, which extended to her younger brother, JJ. She took on a protective role, ensuring that JJ felt loved and included. Both JJ and Tylee had their individual interests and dreams. JJ enjoyed playing with his toys, watching cartoons, and spending time outdoors. Tylee, on the other hand, had a talent for capturing moments through her camera lens and expressed herself through her artistic endeavors. They were a regular part of their community, attending school and interacting with friends and neighbors. Their lives, filled with ordinary moments and cherished memories, were abruptly disrupted by the events that unfolded. In the summer of 2019, the lives of Joshua Jackson, J.J. Vallow, and Tylee Ryan took a sinister turn. It all began with a series of puzzling events that unfolded before their disappearances. On July 22, 2019, Lori Vallow made a perplexing decision. She sent an email requesting to return JJ's service dog to the company that had trained it. This raised concerns among those who knew JJ well, as he relied on the dog for support due to his autism diagnosis. The timing of Lori's request, shortly after JJ's father had passed away, seemed particularly distressing. It left people wondering why JJ, in the midst of such upheaval, would be separated from his beloved companion. A few months later, on September 5, 2019, Lori suddenly informed JJ's school, the Lawrence Institute for Education in Gilbert, Arizona, that he would not be re-enrolling. In an email, she explained that the family had to relocate quickly due to a job opportunity out of state. This abrupt change raised eyebrows, as JJ had established routines and connections at his current school. It seemed odd that Lori would uproot him without much warning. 3 days later, on September 8, 2019, Tylee Ryan vanished without a trace. The last known image of her was captured during a family outing to Yellowstone National Park. She was seen alongside her mother, brother JJ, and Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Tylee, just 16 years old at the time, appeared in the photograph, unaware of the ordeal that lay ahead. Little did anyone know that it would be the last documented sighting of her. Shortly after Tylee's disappearance, on September 23, 2019, JJ was also reported missing. He was last seen at his Rexburg school before Lori withdrew him, informing the principal that she was considering homeschooling him. Coincidentally, this was the day before Tylee's 17th birthday, adding another layer of unease to the already concerning situation. The disappearances of JJ and Tylee sent shockwaves through their communities, leaving family members, friends, and authorities desperate for answers. The sudden and unexplained events surrounding their vanishing raised suspicions about the role Lori Vallow and her associates played in their fates. As the days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, the search for JJ and Tylee intensified. The media coverage grew, and the public's attention shifted toward the mystery surrounding their whereabouts. Vigils were held, pleas for information were made, and the community united in their determination to find the missing children. In the midst of the perplexing disappearances of JJ and Tylee, a series of shocking events further deepened the mystery surrounding their fate. On October 19, 2019, Chad Daybell, who had been associated with Lori Vallow, reported the sudden death of his wife Tammy. He claimed that she had gone to bed with a cough and never woke up. At first, her passing was deemed as natural causes, and no autopsy was conducted. However, as concerns grew regarding Lori and Chad's connection to the missing children, authorities began to view Tammy's death with suspicion. The circumstances surrounding her demise were now under scrutiny, raising unsettling questions about the chain of events unfolding around them. Lori Vallow Daybell's involvement in a cult-like group brought forth a disturbing dimension to the case surrounding her children's disappearance. This cult, led by Chad Daybell, promoted unconventional beliefs and practices that raised concerns about their influence on Lori and the well-being of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. The cult revolved around doomsday theories and apocalyptic prophecies, captivating individuals who were drawn to the idea of an impending end of the world. Through online platforms and Chad's writings, like-minded individuals gathered to discuss and reinforce their shared beliefs. Lori's connection with Chad through these online communities led to a deepening of her involvement in the cult, and their relationship quickly escalated. Just a few weeks later, on November 5, 2019, Lori and Chad took an unexpected step. Despite the recent deaths of their previous spouses, Lori's husband Charles and Chad's wife Tammy, the two individuals tied the knot in a surprising wedding ceremony held in Kauai, Hawaii. The timing and circumstances of their union only added to the growing sense of intrigue surrounding their actions and their potential involvement in the disappearances of JJ and Tylee. As the weeks passed, the concerned grandparents of JJ, Kay, and Larry Woodcock reached out to the police in Rexburg, Idaho, on November 26, 2019. They expressed their worries about not having seen JJ and Tylee since September. This raised alarm bells, prompting law enforcement to initiate a missing persons investigation. The search for answers intensified, as the Woodcocks offered a substantial reward of $20,000 for any helpful information that could shed light on the whereabouts of their beloved grandchildren. The unfolding sequence of events painted a chilling picture of a complex web of deaths, disappearances, and suspicious circumstances. With each new revelation, the veil of uncertainty grew thicker, leaving authorities and the community grappling with the unsettling reality that two innocent children had seemingly vanished without a trace. Public became aware of the intricate connections between Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and the series of deaths and disappearances. The case garnered national attention. The search for answers, justice, and closure became a shared mission for law enforcement, the Woodcock family, and a concerned public. As the investigation into the disappearance of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow intensified, the authorities' search for answers led them to the residence of Lori and Chad Daybell. Armed with search warrants, the police arrived at their Rexburg home on November 27, 2019. However, they were met with an unsettling discovery. Lori and Chad had abruptly vacated the premises and vanished from the area, leaving behind a trail of uncertainty and mounting concerns. Troubled by their disappearance, police made a disconcerting statement. They strongly believed that the lives of Joshua and Tylee were now at risk. Moreover, their attempts to work with Lori in order to resolve the matter were met with resistance. Lori seemed unwilling to cooperate with law enforcement, further growing sense of unease. Another tragic event occurred when Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who had previously been involved in the death of her ex-husband Charles Vallow, was found unresponsive in his Arizona home. The circumstances surrounding his death raised questions, but a subsequent investigation determined that it was a natural occurrence, leaving authorities with more puzzling pieces to fit together. The investigation took a significant turn when Tammy Daybell's death, Chad's former wife, was deemed suspicious. To shed light on the circumstances surrounding her passing, her body was exhumed for a thorough autopsy. However, the results of the examination were not immediately disclosed, leaving everyone eager for answers. Amidst this web of intrigue, Colby Ryan, an older half-brother to JJ and Tylee, made a heartfelt plea to his mother through a heartfelt YouTube video. He implored her to make the right choice and safely return the missing children, hoping to bring an end to the uncertainty that had engulfed their lives. The journey to uncover the truth continued when, on January 25, 2020, authorities located Lori and Chad in Kauai, Hawaii. However, their search yielded no sign of the children. The couple claimed that the kids were not with them, and there was no evidence to suggest they had ever been in Hawaii. Frustration mounted as Lori was presented with a court order demanding the immediate return of the children to Idaho, but the deadline passed without any sign of compliance. The ongoing investigation, punctuated by mysterious disappearances, unexplained deaths, and a sense of urgency, kept the public captivated. Case took a significant turn when Lori Vallow was arrested by police in Kauai. She faced serious charges, including 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children. Additionally, she was charged with resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, contempt of court, and willful disobedience of court process or order. The prosecutor's office indicated that each count carried a maximum penalty of 14 years in prison. To secure her release, bond was set at a staggering $5 million, reflecting the gravity of the accusations against her. As the legal proceedings continued, Chad Daybell, while leaving Hawaii for Idaho, made a cryptic statement to ABC News claiming that the kids are safe. However, he refused to provide any further details, leaving everyone searching for answers. In a bid to aid the search for Tylee and JJ, the FBI released new photos taken on September 8, 2019. The images showed the children at Yellowstone National Park in the company of their mother, Lori Vallow, and Lori's brother, Alex Cox. These photographs became crucial as they were the last known pictures of Tylee, who had not been seen since the family's visit to the park. A court hearing in March 2020 resulted in a reduction of Lori's bail to $1 million. Her defense attorney argued that she posed no flight risk, but the prosecutor highlighted her previous non-compliance with law enforcement's directive to produce the children. Despite the bail reduction, the kids remained missing, adding to the sense of urgency and concern surrounding the case. The legal team representing Lori faced challenges as 2 of her attorneys withdrew from the case. Additionally, her remaining attorney filed a motion seeking the removal of Judge Farron Edens, leading to his voluntary recusal from the proceedings. These developments further complicated an already complex situation. Disturbing details emerged from court filings, alleging that Lori believed her children were zombies. These revelations were brought to light during a child custody case involving Lori's niece's ex-husband. According to the filing, Lori's niece claimed that Lori and Chad had expressed the belief that the children had become possessed and turned into zombies. The filing also mentioned concerns about harm being directed towards the niece's ex-husband and the possibility that the same fate awaited Tylee and JJ. As the investigation continued and new information surfaced, the search for the missing children became increasingly urgent. The pieces of this intricate puzzle slowly fell into place, revealing a disturbing web of beliefs and actions. On June 9, 2020, a grim discovery was made that shook the community and brought the tragic fate of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow to light. By analyzing cell phone records of Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's deceased brother, who had been on Chad Daybell's Idaho property during the time frame when the children were last seen, authorities found their remains buried on Chad's property. The details were harrowing. JJ was found wrapped in plastic and bound with duct tape, while Tylee had been dismembered and burned, according to court documents cited by the East Idaho News. The following day, on June 10, 2020, new charges were brought against Chad and Lori. Chad was arrested and charged with 2 counts of destruction, alteration, and concealment of evidence, as well as 2 counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. Lori, on the other hand, faced 2 counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. Both of them pleaded not guilty, setting the stage for a legal battle that would unfold in the months ahead. Lori's sister, Summer Cox Shiflett, who had been a staunch defender of Lori, publicly expressed her sorrow and remorse in a Facebook post on June 22, 2020. She acknowledged her previous support for Lori, but admitted she had been wrong. The tragic loss of Tylee and JJ shattered their family, leaving them to grapple with an unfathomable reality that would forever alter their lives. In November 2020, authorities began investigating the death of Lori's third husband, Joseph Ryan. Previously ruled as a heart attack, his death came under scrutiny after the discovery of the children's bodies. A recording provided to the police captured Lori discussing her desire to kill Joseph, citing the Bible as justification. However, police ruled out foul play in Ryan's death, and no charges were filed against Lori in connection with his passing. The narrative took a chilling turn as it became apparent that Lori's path had drastically changed after meeting Chad in 2018. Her former sister-in-law, Annie Cushing, revealed in January 2021 that Lori had undergone a significant shift in her behavior, gravitating towards doomsday scenarios and adopting Chad's beliefs as a self-proclaimed prophet, focused on the end times. This transformation marked a significant departure from her previous life as a devoted member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. On May 24, 2021, an Idaho grand jury indicted Lori and Chad on charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the deaths of Tylee and JJ. Chad also faced additional charges related to the murder of his previous wife, Tammy. The indictment pointed to the couple's religious beliefs, suggesting they used them to justify and endorse their heinous acts. Both Lori and Chad pleaded not guilty to the charges, setting the stage for a high-profile trial. The legal proceedings continued to unfold, with Lori facing yet another indictment. On June 29, 2021, an Arizona grand jury charged her with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, who was fatally shot in 2019. The indictment alleged that Lori had conspired with her brother, Alex Cox, who had passed away, to carry out the murder. Cox was not charged due to his death being attributed to natural causes. In August 2021, prosecutors announced their intent to seek the death penalty against Chad Daybell, citing the heinous nature of the crimes and his alleged propensity for murder. Chad's children came to his defense, proclaiming his innocence and claiming that he had been framed by Lori and Alex. The legal battles continued, with ongoing developments shaping the course of the trials. In April 2022, it was declared that Lori Vallow was mentally fit to stand trial after undergoing psychiatric evaluation and treatment. She was deemed competent to face charges related to the deaths of her two children. However, in a ruling on March 21, 2023, a judge determined that Lori would not face the death penalty in her murder trial. Her defense team had argued that the intense media coverage surrounding the case could bias the jury pool, also citing her mental health condition. Prosecutors released a joint statement acknowledging the ruling but reaffirming their commitment to pursuing justice in the trial. Jury selection began on April 3, 2023, marking the start of the highly anticipated murder trial of Lori Vallow. The charges against her included the killings of her two children, JJ and Tylee, as well as her former sister-in-law, Tammy Daybell. Chad Daybell, Lori's husband and co-accused in all three deaths, would face a separate trial. As the trial unfolded, the prosecution presented their opening statements on April 10, 2023. Prosecuting attorney Lindsay Blake painted a chilling picture of Lori Vallow, accusing her of using money, power, and sex to fulfill her desires. The cause of Tammy Daybell's death was revealed, and Blake claimed that Lori would stop at nothing to eliminate any obstacles in her path to be with Chad Daybell. On April 11, 2023, the court heard gruesome testimony from Detective Ray Hermosillo, who discovered the remains of JJ and Tylee on Chad's property in 2020. The detective described the macabre scene of burnt and decomposed body parts, evoking shock and horror in the courtroom. A significant revelation came on April 14, 2023, when Zulema Pastines, the wife of Alex Cox, testified that Cox had spoken to Lori and Chad on the phone the night before his death. Pastines recounted the conversation, expressing her confusion about the exhumation of Tammy Daybell's body and Cox's mysterious statement about being a fall guy. The following day, Cox was found dead, further deepening the web of suspicion surrounding the case. The emotional testimony of Colby Ryan, Lori's surviving son, on April 18, 2023, tugged at the heartstrings of those present. Ryan tearfully identified his siblings, Tylee and JJ, in photographs and shared his changed perception of his mother after she met Chad Daybell. The jury also heard a poignant jailhouse phone call between Ryan and Lori, where he confronted her about the loss of their family members. April 19, 2023, brought forth an incriminating email from Chad Daybell, written just days after the disappearance of JJ and Tylee. In the email to a realtor, Chad stated that he and Lori were a childless couple with no pets, seemingly attempting to hide the truth about the missing children. The testimony of Detective Cassandra Inclan on April 20, 2023, shed light on Lori's demeanor following the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. Inclan described Lori's lack of emotion and apparent nonchalance, even amidst the tragic circumstances. This testimony added to the mounting evidence against Lori, who would later face conspiracy to commit murder charges in connection with Charles's death in Arizona. Forensic pathologist Dr. Garth Warren delivered a shocking revelation on April 26, 2023, disclosing that JJ had been asphyxiated with a plastic bag and duct tape. Tylee's cause of death remained undetermined, though her remains showed signs of homicide. Further forensic evidence was presented on April 27 and 28, linking Tylee's DNA to tools found on Chad Daybell's property and identifying Alex Cox's fingerprints on the plastic covering JJ's remains. The trial took a gripping turn on May 1, 2023, when a DNA expert testified that a piece of Lori's hair was discovered on the duct tape connected to JJ's remains. The revelation strengthened the case against her. Finally, on May 12, 2023, the jury reached a verdict. Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty of the murders of JJ and Tylee, as well as the conspiracy to murder Tammy Daybell. The weight of the evidence had condemned her. Less than a week after her conviction, on May 16, 2023, Lori Vallow Daybell faced another indictment. This time, she was charged with conspiracy to commit murder against Brandon Boudreaux, her niece's husband, further exposing the extent of her alleged criminal activities. The Lori Vallow Daybell trial became a haunting saga of tragedy, manipulation, and loss. The courtroom witnessed heart-wrenching testimonies and shocking revelations that painted a dark portrait of a mother turned alleged murderer. The trial's conclusion left a profound impact on all those involved, forever marking the names of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy Daybell in the annals of justice. Today's conundrum revolves around the twisted case of Lori Vallow Daybell. It's been a long road for everyone involved in this case, as well as for me and you who did stick to the end. Let's not forget the victims. Share your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think or watch one of my other videos. Until next time, stay safe.